Good morning. Good morning. Peace of blessings. It's your boy Jay Taylor. Welcome back to Voices for the Voiceless. Man, I know it's been quite a while since I've done any content on this channel. So I hope everybody's been feeling well. I hope this message is received by many and appreciated by all because man, it's been very difficult to get this message out. And before we get into the topic, I kind of share what's going on with me. For one, um, completed my album that's dropping later this month on the 24th of July. So yes, my album is dropping July 24th, which is a Friday. Uh, Let me see what's today, the 11th. So yeah, about 13 days. My album will be on all major streaming sites and platforms. I'll keep you guys updated with that. It's called Press Soul. So it's a soulful vibe, soulful hip hop with a lot of social commentary that would mirror a lot of the topics that we discuss on this platform. And also, wrapping that up, my mom had a knee surgery. So y'all pray for my mom. She had a knee replacement surgery and just been helping her out a lot. She's doing fine. And, God is good. She just had that maybe about a week or two ago. So just been really busy with that. And also, my son is away at a summer camp for college prep. He's coming up on his last year of high school and getting him situated with all of that. So I just been very busy. Life just been lifing. But man, I'm happy to be at a place. I've meant to do this commentary actually the day before yesterday, but I'm kind of happy that I'm doing it now since some more developments have surfaced. So now, and as the title says, the Nolan Wells tragedy, my initial thoughts and what we know so far. So, if you haven't heard, it's a young man in Mississippi that was with some other young men on a boat trip for the 4th of July. And unfortunately, the young man, Nolan Wells, never made it back from that trip. And his mom and his father put in a police report, and a few days later, he was discovered. Um, and the boys that he was with said that they didn't know anything about his whereabouts. Last time they seen him was actually what he was left to go talk to a female or what have you. First and foremost, it's a young college freshman, Nolan Wells, and uh, star athlete, student athlete, first year college. Um, my I couldn't imagine. My deepest condolences to the family, to the community, to all the friends and everybody that's affected. And just I mean, what can you say, man? That's just terrible. Several things could be true at once, though, right? So my condolences to the family and the community for their loss. So tragic. I have some notes here to really like lay out what we know so far. So I'm gonna read what we know so far and give my thoughts and my take on it initially. So obviously it's an undergoing investigation. But let's get to it. The Nolan Wells case involves the mysterious disappearance and death of 18-year-old student athlete Nolan Xavier Wells, whose body was found off the coast of Horn Island, Mississippi, following a the 4th of July weekend beach celebration, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office is actively investigating the incident. Because the case has garnered massive national attention and intense social media scrutiny, the family has retained high profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump to conduct an independent review. Now that's interesting. We're going to get to that. Let's continue. A local judge whose son was on the boat clarified that the vessel was taking on water due to a bilge pump failure, forcing the group to leave around 4:30 p.m. So they had a malfunction with the boat and water was coming onto the boat, so they decided to leave. She stated that, and it's also important to note that one of the boys who was on the boat, their mother is a judge. Very interesting. She stated that Wells was last seen around 3 p.m. talking to a girl and made the decision to stay. Okay. After Wells' mother reported him missing that night, a search was launched. A U.S. park ranger discovered Wells's body on Monday morning, July 6th, off the northwestern tip of the island. Authorities suspect that Wells drowned, while the official state autopsy results and toxicology reports are pending. Local officials stated they do not currently suspect foul play or have immediate evidence that a crime occurred. So, as it stands right now, he went missing on the 4th, and his body didn't get discovered until the 6th, 2 days later on Monday morning. Okay. The judge, one of the boys' sons, is a judge. The autopsy at the moment is still trying to figure out the cause of him not being here anymore. Investigators are actively analyzing a viral social media video that appears to show a crowded beach argument on the island. The sheriff's office has urged anyone on the northwest tip of the island that afternoon to come forward with original posts, photos, videos, or eyewitness accounts of altercations or unusual activity. So there has been a viral video going around of some type of altercation. So they're trying to find out if Nolan and his friends maybe had a fight. They were seen with pictures with alcohol, and they were kind of hugged up on the pictures. And they're young, 18, 19 years old, alcohol, water. A lot of times it's a recipe for a tragedy. Young people, they horseplay, or they could be getting into it. So they just trying to find out if there was some type of altercation, right? Um, Unsatisfied with initial narratives, Ben Crump announced that Wells' body is being flown to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy to check for any physical injuries beyond drowning. So Ben Crump, a civil rights attorney, uh, is conducting his own in autopsy in Washington, D.C. They not really trusting what Mississippi is saying at this point, that there's no foul play that they're seeing as it stands, right? But it's still ongoing in Mississippi. And then I actually think that that's good. I want to see the results of both our autopsies, right? The case has sparked massive public interest in racial overtones on social media platforms. Now, this is where social media is a gift and a curse in these situations, and we'll get there. Commentators quickly noted that Wells was black while the friends he traveled with were white. drawing comparisons to past controversial cases involving minority deaths on group outings. Okay. Now, I purposely did not go into the race situation until this point because up until now, that never mattered. You got four kids that were friends for years, doing what kids do at that age, going out. This is down south, Mississippi. They got a little island where, that's something that when I was that age, shoot, even now, I would like to do, go to a little island on a boat and, kick it, probably be some nice females to look at and holler at, or, doing what kids do, young people all together. And, race to me never played a part in this. But once it touches social media and once the mainstream media pushes that narrative, then it clouds everybody's vision. Now we stuck on he black and they white, and these are just kids. And these kids in this generation, they don't deal with all of that. You know what I'm saying? This is obviously a multicultural community. But this is what taints juries. This is what uh further divides the United States with situations like this. So, right, let me get back to it. Outrage public theories grew after reports surfaced that the Friends quickly retained legal counsel, though local uh, uh, officials emphasized that the Friends have fully cooperated with the ongoing investigations. Before his tragic death, Wells was a highly respected resident of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Shout out to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's where they were from. And a freshman wide receiver for the Southwest Mississippi Community College football team. So this was a good kid, Nolan Wells, student athlete, right? So this is basically what we know so far. And in addition to Ben Crump, Al Sharpton has jumped on this as well, right? Al Sharpton has jumped on this and Ben Crump. Now my issue with that is, I think Colin Kaepernick, Ben Crump got Colin Kaepernick to pay for the autopsy, which I don't have a problem with that. If I was the parents, I would want to know more answers too, right? So I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, two things could be true at the same time. Them other boys know something that Nolan was with. There's no way you could tell me that they all went out there to this Horn Island to, and then also they came back with Nolan's phone and keys. How did he, even if he decided to stay back with the girl, and I think the girl name was Katie, um, if Nolan decided to stay, how did y'all end up with his phone? How did y'all end up with his keys? Right? Come on, man. I mean, y'all know something because if you know anything about these kids, I mean, when they first thing they do when they wake up in the morning, when they wake up in the morning, is grab their phone before they wash their face, brush their teeth. I got a teenager around this age, so I know like they in their phone constantly. They not leaving their phone. So for him to leave the phone on the boat, now the phone get from the boat and one of the kids gives it to Nolan's mother. And now Nolan's mother and father are saying that text messages are missing. Now, how they know that, I'm not sure. But I mean, it's a lot of unanswered questions. But I guarantee these boys know, if I'm not saying they know everything, but they know something. Now, a couple of scenarios I would suggest, I was thinking, and this is just allegedly. I think that it wasn't any foul play. Because for for the narrative to be shaped that, oh, they lured him to this island. This is a place that they went to all the time. This is not nothing that this is something that this where they hang out. And if they wanted to just, oh, we white and you black and you the only black person. But when you look at the images on the island, it was tons of black people. It was mixed. It was black, white, and you had some Latinos out there too. I looked at the footage. So it wasn't like he was the only black person out on the island. Now he was the only black friend on the boat, but this is something that they do on a regular. If they just wanted to off Nolan, they didn't have to. They wouldn't have been out here just taking pictures with him the day of, letting everybody know they together. They could have, did that. So this they could have did that when he was at home. So that defies logic. This is something that they do on a regular when they go kick it, and this is uh nothing new. This is not a situation where they would have to lure him, if they just wanted to take him out. I think a accident probably happened. You, like I said, you got young, 18, 19-year olds, water, alcohol, possibly, allegedly, maybe even drugs. You mix all that together to football players, testosterone, you know, the notion boys will be boys. Could it have been an accident? And these young men say, hey, man, what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? He could have fell off the boat. They said there was some type of malfunction. And sometimes young people, instead of just saying what happened, they'll make a situation worse by trying to cover things up. I would believe that before, and all of this is just allegedly. Whether it was a for real fight, I know they say they got the footage of some type of altercation. Who knows if it was even them? But at this moment, uh, we can only assume. And see, that's the thing where I want to talk to with social media, because it could have been a for real fight. Well, one of them did something to you, did something to him, or all three of them jumped on you. We don't know. Or was they horse playing too much and he slipped and fell? Or, no, the autopsy is gonna have to show that it was some type of foul play or not. And I'm happy that he's getting two. So for Ben Crump involvement on that note, I'm happy that he's involved and got Colin Kaepernick to do a double autopsy on top of the state of Mississippi. Because now, before I get to that, with the racial stuff, let's talk about the girl. Kate, from what I'm hearing, she said that, we chopped it up for a little bit, and then he was supposed to, go catch up with his friends, and I was supposed to go catch up with my girls, and it wasn't like we stayed back, and because they saying he decided to hang out with Katie, but Katie said, shoot, she chopped it up with him for a minute, and then she left. Now all her social media is still up. All the boys over here, the social media been taken down, so it make people say, oh, well, why would they take their social media down? I'm gonna get there. It's a very logical reason why they would take their social media down from my vantage point. But the thing about it is, we have to, in every situation, we have to wait for the full facts to come out. And that's what social media is, a gift and a curse, right? Because now when it touches social media, and let's talk about the racial aspect of it. This boy was white. These boys that Nolan was with was white. He was black. Like I said, this generation, they don't deal with that. But the narrative is, oh man, all over TikTok, all over social media. Oh man, if you black, you can't be the only one. You won't come up missing. No. See, that's where it get dangerous at, with these narratives that further divide the country. Because it don't matter who black, who white. in these situations. And we're not gonna make it seem like all of a sudden, if you white or if you black, you the only black person, only black friend that you automatically gonna lose your life. See, that's the type of rhetoric that we've been fed that creates fear and division in our country. Man, I'm telling you, and I'm just gonna sidetrack and tell y'all this story because that type of thinking I had to see for myself as a truck driver driving across the country, places you would by myself, places you wouldn't suspect. You know what I'm saying? Any black people to be. And I've been in situations where, hey, it ain't not a white face around. I'm the only I'm the only black person, and and I've been set up, by my own people. So that's telling our children if you're the only black person, that's false. Anytime anybody ever did me anything dirty, it was always another black person. And anytime I was always around some white people, nothing happened to me. You know, anytime I ever been set up in my life, I done had all type of situations. I'd have been jumped on. I'd have had uh I'd have been stuck up. I'd have been through a lot of stuff in these streets where it was nothing but black people. So telling children that is a false narrative, right? I mean, if you relate, you relate. Let's just keep it real. So trying to tell the kids and further divide this country, you know, under the racial act that's where I'm like, nah, two things could be right. Could be, let's be fair. Two things could be right at the same time, right? The mother and the father should be asking all the questions and trying to get all the information and everything like that, right? They should be trying to get as many autopsies as they can get to the truth. But at the same time, that doesn't mean if you the only black person, you automatically a victim. I mean, let's look at Shanquella Robinson. She went to, she came up, she went through with her all her black friends to Mexico and she didn't make it back. These things happen, unfortunately, but it don't have nothing to do with skin color. Because to be honest, I'm pretty sure these kids been friends for years and they didn't look at each other like that. But once it touches social media and the media, oh yeah, now the racism play a part. And that's exactly why I believe that these young boys took down their social media and haven't made any comments, because look what the hell happened with the Metcalf family in the Carmelo Anthony situation. They lost their child. And what did social media do? They doxed the father and the brother, and they tried to get the twin brother locked up in the mama house. And I mean, they became uh victims of harassment nonstop. So I think that, yeah, we know the temperature in America right now. We see what other situations that have this racial over undertone. Yeah, we might need to protect, and then one of the kids' mother is a judge. Yeah, take their social media down. Yeah, let's get them lawyered up, because we already see where this is going. We already see where this is going. So I don't really particularly blame them for protecting themselves as far as social media is concerned. Right? Like I said, one, two things or multiple things could be true at the same time. Although I do feel as though y'all definitely know something. If y'all not involved, and for them not to be charged, that would raise concern, and that can change. We have to let this play out, right? I'm gonna give y'all see. I'm gonna give y'all an example of an experience that I had when I was over the road, right? I was just getting over the road, and I had that mentality of, yeah, I was. pretty much under the assumption if anything can happen to you anywhere. Let me not be saying that I'm ignorant to the fact that it is racist people out there, but I would say the majority of people in this country are relatively good people, and I learned that from traveling and going to different places. I'm in the truck with the guy that's teaching me how to drive. When you go out on the road for the first time, all right, you would pass your CDL, you know, you got your state certification, but you don't know how to drive yet. You don't know what it's like to go in the mountains. So they gonna send you out with a trainer for at least a month and a half to 2 months until you really get it down pat. So I went out with my trainer. Now my trainer, his name was Shaw, right? He was from the South. He was from Georgia, from a small town called Smyrna, Georgia, right? Man, cool dude. He was a little bit too younger than me. We was about the same age. So we was both young black men at the time. And this is over 10 years ago. And man, at the time, man, I looked at like old dog, all miniature society. I had the braids, the bees in it. It was summertime. So I looked like I'm straight from the hood, right? So we on the road and long story short, man, we find ourselves somewhere in the back roads of Alabama, right? We find ourselves driving down the street, running out of fuel. I'm looking around, and if I could describe the scenery, it looked like Little House on the Prairie. I'm talking about it got to be every bit of 112 degrees outside, and I'm seeing white folks with cowboy boots on, cowboy hats on, with flannels on, long sleeve flannels on. I'm like, man, where the hell? Where you got me at, bro? Talk about we running out of fuel. Where are we finna get some fuel from over here? And this is around the time when Trump. This when I thought Trump was the most racist person on earth. Trump signs everywhere. This was his first election. I'm like, man, all these Trump signs and cowboy hats. I'm like, man, look at me, man. I look like old dog from Minister Society, man. Where's we finna get some fuel at? But we had no choice. And we had to go to this little mom and pop store. Now, me being indoctrinated, me having this mindset of all white people racist, and I'm from Chicago, and we in Alabama, which is right next door to Mississippi where this situation happened. But what I'm saying is, I had this interpretation that, oh man, it's finna be a problem. They see our black butt over here. We got to be the only black people out here, right? But whole time, bro, we pull up to the truck stop, little mom and pop spot. And I'm like, so Shaw like, man, shoot, I got to go in there. But he from the South. I'm from the Midwest, so I'm from Chicago. It's a little different. He hop out. I'm sitting there looking for, while he gone, I'm talking about, I'm so indoctrinated to believe that they want to do me some harm just because they country white folk, hillbillies in the South. This is what I've been told all my life. I'm looking for hammers, screwdrivers, weapons, just in case. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going to happen. But see, when you create narratives like this is the reaction. I look up, Shaw coming back to the truck. I'm talking about, man, we was hungry too. He had a big old, I'm talking about, you ever go to the cookout and they ain't got no aluminum foil, but they got everything on their plate. So they had to put another plate on top of the plate. He had one of them plates. I'm looking like, man, he got all type of, man, mashed potatoes and chicken and, you know what I'm saying? All type of food, gravy all over. He come back chewing. He like, man, better go get you some, bro. I'm like, what? I'm like, man, oh man, I'm out this boy. So I jump out the truck. Boom. I say, man, if this country Negro could go in here, I know I'm good. So I go in there, and I'm telling you, when I go in the spot, it was like a culture shock. Soon as I walk in, everybody got cowboy hats on. Everybody looking at me, right? Whole 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 stove full of hillbillies. I say they. I say, oh man, this is awkward. I got these long. My braids was long, bro. They was to my shoulder. You know, I ain't had no struck butters. That's what we call them short braids in Chicago. Them struck butters. Nah, I had my demos. They was on my shoulder. You feel me? But they ain't been braided in a while, so they kind of raggedy, right? So I got the wife beat on everything. So I first dude look at me sitting down eating, and he like, howdy. Tip his hat like howdy. You know what I'm saying? This girl like howdy. I'm talking about everybody I walk by, they howdy. I'm like, howdy. I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Howdy, howdy. Everybody saying howdy to me. It's like they went out their way to let me know, nah, you good, bro. We ain't on that. I know it's like we can look at you and tell that you have this preconceived notion about us, but we not on that with you. You know, they went out their way with the howdies to let me know, hey man, we ain't trying to do nothing to you, bro. Go on here, get what you gonna do. You good. We see y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all put up in the big old semi truck. We know that. It's just this, you know, it's kind of like would be the reverse if they was, you know, a white boy in that situation just had to go to the hood and get some fuel, you know, and everybody like, oh man, you good, bro. You know, in the house is a you know, it's a stove full of brothers in there. You know what I'm saying? We like, nah, you good, bro. Man, don't even trip, man. We see you with the cowboy hat. So, man, it was just like, man, you good. So I'm like, man, okay. So I started, go and get me to the cooler, grab me something to drink. You know, they had their little country music playing. Then I walk up to the register where the food at, and the lady, man, I'm talking about, man, the lady was so nice. She like, hey, baby, what you want? We got some chicken. We got some mashed potatoes. We got some macaroni and cheese. We got this. I'm like, oh yeah, let me get this. Man, you want some more? We got dessert. And woo woo. I say, give me everything. Just like my boy that came in here with his plate with the double plate. Give me everything. Cause we starving too. Cause he filling up. He gonna be a minute. You know, them semis, it take a minute to fill them joints. So bro, I swear for God, I came back out, had my plate. They like, come back anytime, you know. Woo woo. I'm like, the lady it was just like, and then I'm like, man, you know what they say, the narrative, like white people can't cook. Man, that man down south must be different. Cause that food was busting, well seasoned, everything, you know. So I say all that to say this, man, and I was over the road by myself for years. At least 2 years, you know what I'm saying? And every time that I was around, I mean Kentucky, back roads, and once I had that in all type of, Tennessee, man, I remember one time, man, I was on my own, and that was when I first started, when I was with Shaw in that situation. And then it was another time, man, when I was by myself, because I trained with Shaw for about 2 months, then I went by myself. And I had a situation where, because when you first start, you ain't really making that kind of money. But and I was when you go to the truck stop for the night, you know, you got to pay for your shower, and or you got enough, points from fuel to get you a shower. But whatever the case may be, I didn't have enough money to pay for my shower. You know what I'm saying? And somebody who you would consider to look like a white skinhead type dude, he was like, hey, put his shower tab on me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, white people showed me so much gratitude while I was over the road. That's why I say, like, a lot of this stuff I seen for myself is indoctrination for people to be fearful of another race. Most people in this country are good people, man. You know, on the surface. You know, yeah, I know racism. Yeah, some racist people out there, true. And had I been around the wrong people, who knows? You know what I'm saying? But from my personal experiences and from all the thousands and tens of thousands of black truck drivers, they can attest to this. Now, some people may say, well, that's just because you was in the truck. Who knows? But I say all that to say this, that, man, let's calm it down with all the racial division in this country. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can make something more than what it is. It probably didn't have nothing to do with that. Just like I believe the Carmelo Anthony situation didn't have nothing to do with that. This new generation, they 7, 8 generations removed from that type of America, man. And we should want to progress and celebrate, you know what I'm saying, where we've came from in this country. You know, we know what the past and the history was, but that's just like it being in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna continue to live in the past, or eventually are y'all gonna move forward? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, my initial thoughts on this situation is them boys know something. And I don't want to make this too long. I'm already over almost 40 minutes on this video. It's gonna be something else trying to upload it. But I mean, I'm pretty sure as the information comes out, you know, we'll talk more about this in depth. But I think that this is a teachable moment for the nation. You know what I'm saying? And like, hopefully, if we get enough positive voices out here to speak on this from a perspective, if them boys, hey, if they did something nefarious, man, I say throw the book at them. But if it was an accident, then we got to weigh the pros and cons. But we have limited information. But hey, man, it's your boy Jay Taylor. Voices for the voiceless. We love y'all. Until next time, we shall see you soon. Peace and blessings.